to 3:15. I think they're going to join me for the final segment of the Braden Surprenant show. So we will get you dialed in on that in a little bit. We do want to, obviously talk a lot of Padres in the next 2 hours. A good start for the Padres in terms of their first couple of games. It's always nice to get a couple of wins to get the season started. And for San Diego, getting those first 2 wins is obviously a big point in the year to get off to a good start. These 2 wins obviously aren't going to put you in line for playoff tickets. There's still a lot that needs to happen. We still got 160 of these games left. And if you can take one out of the next 2, you're going to be in a really good spot if you're the San Diego Padres, especially since Atlanta is going to get more reinforcements later on in the season and probably do a lot of damage and help for the Padres in terms of that playoff race. Because San Diego, as I mentioned before, you're trying the best you can not to focus on LA, and I know it's hard. They won again last night. They're off to a 4-0 start. We'll talk a little bit about kind of the start that they have had also. But as of right now, you look at the way things are playing out for the Padres. You got to watch Arizona. You got to worry about the Diamondbacks. You got to worry about the rest of the National League East, and then you got to focus on yourself. And when you play Los Angeles, that will be the time that you can go out there and worry about the Dodgers. I mean, last night, again, for LA, they were able to walk it off against the Tigers. They've gotten the benefit of some bounces already this year. But as Ben Higgins tweeted out, yesterday about there's some vulnerability there for that team. They've already had a couple of close calls so far with the Detroit Tigers. So I don't think they're going to be an unbeatable team, but you don't have to worry about them until you play them later on in the year.
Trying to get the internet going again.
It's a tough transition between the 2 shows here on Saturday. But
last night for the Padres
overall is a good victory for them. We've seen some pretty good baseball out of San Diego so far in the first 2 games. I love the opening day game. Again, we mentioned that yesterday on the show.
The way that the Padres battled throughout. I love what Jackson Merrill said about what the team is in terms of pressure. They don't feel the pressure. They exude the pressure on other teams. And I think that's a great quote. Obviously, it's probably not a direct quote. I got to find a direct quote from Jackson Merrill. But you saw that again last night. I mean, the Padres jumped out to a 2-0 lead on Atlanta, and then a couple of things didn't go Dylan Cease's way after getting a couple of outs. They're surrendering 2 runs. And then they get the run back. And then all of a sudden, Atlanta gets the Jared Kelly home run. It's 3-3. And it's Jake Cronenworth that gets the job done in the 8th inning for the San Diego Padres on a solo run to right field.
They did to the Chrome zone to retake the lead. Suarez got out there and got a second save of the season. And you're seeing contributions from everybody right now for the San Diego Padres. You're seeing that in the catching position. I mean, we heard on the way down, I was listening to Ben Woods, and they were talking about the catching situation and the fact that they've already got 4 knocks out of the catching position. Something that not a lot of people, I think, expected after spring training got underway for the San Diego Padres. But catching position is contributing. Jake had a tough first day. On opening day, not great against left-handers. We know that with Jake Cronenworth, but he's going to get his opportunity to go out there and perform. And he had those opportunities last night. I mean, Mike should have gone to the bench and had a pinch hit situation in the last couple of innings to get Jake Cronenworth out of the lineup. But he stuck with this guy, and it paid off for him with a home run to right field. You're going to see a lot of that this season out of the Padres. You're going to see a lot of that this season out of the Padres. You're going to get the, you're going to get the opportunity for guys to contribute and guys to be able to, show that they can be part of this team. I think you see that a lot with the catching position. I wanted to really talk about that. We'll talk about Xander Bogaerts later on the show. I really want to talk about Fernando leadoff spot, kind of do my own little victory lap on the Fernando leadoff position. But in terms of the catchers, the thing, they were both brought in. I mean, Elias Diaz is a little bit different because he's always been more of a hitter than he has been a defensive player, and he's really worked on the defense. And Mike Schilt, we've talked about this before, has talked about how he values the catching position as a defensive first position, and then the hitting is extra. So Elias Diaz trying to be able to be that defensive catcher for the Padres. Didn't see too much of that in opening day. But that being said, Michael King didn't really give him a lot of opportunities for that either. And I think he's going to be able to overcome a lot of that later on in the season. But he was brought in to hit. I mean, he is more of a hitter than he is a defensive backstop. And so far for the Padres, got a couple of good hits in opening night. Then you go to Martin Maldonado. Now, Martin Maldonado is definitely a defensive catcher. That's what he's been brought in to do at age 41 to kind of help with the younger pitchers, especially today with Randy Vasquez. I would not be surprised if he ends up starting tonight for the San Diego Padres. We'll pass along the lineup when we get it. But when you look at Martin Maldonado specifically, he was brought in to be a defensive catcher for the San Diego Padres. He wasn't brought in to hit. He hasn't hit in the last couple of years. It was very bad average for the White Sox last year. His last couple of years in Houston was more of a defensive player, late replacement in the game or, spot start or depending on who was pitching that day when you knew you needed a good backstop. Not necessarily a hitter. Last night gets 2 hits. I mean, not as great behind the dish as you would think. I think he's going to get a lot better at that, but you've gotten 4 hits right now out of your 9 spot in the catching role. And I think a big reason for that is the fact that the Padres don't need those guys to go out there and perform. They don't have to be the guy. They've already told them a couple of times, look, we're going to let the top 6 in the order do all the damage, and you guys will focus on the catching position, focus on playing defense, and then anything extra is icing on the cake. And so far, you've gotten 4 hits already out of that particular position and that spot in the order. So for the Padres, I mean, if you can get any type of production out of catching, you're loving it. And they flipped the lineup over to Fernando multiple times. They've done their job. It is so much easier to hit in baseball, in softball, in professional, any level of baseball. It is way easier to hit when you got no pressure. Go up there, freely swing. And I think you've seen that out of the catchers so far. I mean, if you look at Martin Maldonado the last couple of years, obviously his production's gone down as a catcher. It wasn't necessarily one of the better catchers in Major League Baseball to begin with. But even last year, I mean, he's on a bad White Sox team. I don't care where you're at in the order on a bad team. When you lose as many games as the White Sox lose, everybody on the team starts to think that they got to go be the guy and try to stop the bleeding and stop the team from just really falling off. And so I'll give Martin Maldonado the benefit of the doubt on that. But again, he wasn't brought in to hit. He was brought in to be a defensive backstop for the Padres. And so any type of production out of the catching position, I think, is great. And you've seen it already for the Padres. We'll talk about more about Xander Bogaerts. I mean, again, I'm planting my flag now as his number one supporter on the airwaves, his number one supporter in terms of the fan base. I mean, I've already heard boos out there in Petco Park. Guy contributed last night. He got another big knock to drive in a run to tie the game at 3, in the game yesterday. And that ball was hit over 100 miles an hour. He hit that 112 miles an hour off the bat. That's his hardest hit ball Xander has had since 2022. You want a sign that Xander's healthy? You want a sign that Xander is going to be hopefully around the Xander that you got in 2022, or should I say 2023, when he went out there and had a 4.4 WAR? That's your sign right there. 112 miles an hour off the bat and a base knock to score a run that they needed middle to late innings in the ball game. That's the big hit that you needed. That's where you need Xander Bogaerts. And if Xander Bogaerts can perform at that level, this Padres team is going to go a long way. And that was the kind of the bet that they took with the offseason. Not a lot of trades in the offseason. We talked about it with A.J. Preller yesterday when he was on with Ben and Woods. He's going to get the support, from the organization with John Seidler now as the control person of the San Diego Padres. And the big gamble that the Padres are taking, if it is a gamble, or the note that they have in their back pocket, is they're going to be able to be successful because a lot of their veteran players that they already spent money on are now healthy. We've seen it with Arias. We've seen it with Manny. We've seen it with Fernando. And I haven't gotten to start to talk about Fernando yet. And now you're seeing it with Xander. 112 off the bat, man. That's legit. That means he's ready to go. He's healthy. So I'm expecting another, more out of Xander Bogaerts this year. I think he's going to do a good job. And again, he's under contract for such a long time that the Padres, as Padre fans, he's on the team. He ain't going anywhere. So you might as well embrace Xander Bogaerts because this guy's going to be a major factor for why that they are successful this season. Again, we're getting ready for Padres and Braves, game 3 of the 4-game set. Padres have won the first 2, looking for a series win tonight against Atlanta. You can see Randy Vasquez for the first time this year. I thought they were going to go with Kyle Hart on today and then Vasquez on Monday. Padres have decided to go Randy Vasquez today and Hart on Monday against the Guardians. I think it has a lot to do with timing. But I'm excited to watch Randy Vasquez pitch. I think he's got a bright future in the major leagues. I mean, he made 20 starts last year, as Ben Higgins mentioned. I mean, Randy Vasquez, part of this rotation, and he's going to be asked to do a lot of things this year for the San Diego Padres, especially with Yu Darvish being on the injured list to get the season started. And hopefully we continually get good updates on Yu Darvish as the first couple of weeks progress to get him back in that rotation. But kid made 20 starts for the Padres last year and almost threw 100 innings. He is only 24 years old. 26 years old. He debuted at 24. He has a bright future for the San Diego Padres. I like his stuff. I think he's going to be able to learn how to pitch. And now with Martin Maldonado probably catching him throughout the season, a veteran backstop back there to really help this kid grow. I think he might be poised to have a good year, but he's still learning how to pitch at the big league level at age 26. You see that with Mackenzie Gore. It took him a couple of years to be able to get to the point where he is at. He shoved a couple of days ago for the Washington Nationals. So I like to see Randy Vasquez tonight. He's going to get Schwellenbach for the Atlanta Braves. Again, the game will start at 4:15. We got the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show with Sam Levitt at 3:15. Gwen and Chris will be on after me here at Tom's Watch Bar. And we got a lot of great deals here at Tom's Watch Bar. You want to get down to the ballpark early. The block party is already packed. Got a lot of great vendors out there at the block party. They got some cool, I already saw there's like a thrift shop outside of Bub's with old Padres gear, like 1998 Padres World Series gear. It looks pretty cool. They got a couple of those. They got some fun activities for the kids. They're doing a couple of different events on the stages as well. Walk around, check it out, and then come out and hang out with us and come to Tom's Watch Bar because a lot of great deals for you at Tom's Watch Bar today with us being here. We're located at 8th and J Street, just steps from Petco Park. Got specials on Blue Moon, Coors Light, Tom's Party Starter, the prime rib dip sandwich, which I know Chris Ella wants to dive into. I want to dive into one of those in a little bit. They dropped off the deep dish nachos, and I'm going to get this tripod set up in a better spot in a second, but I'm going to see if I can show you the nachos on the YouTube. That is a heck of a nacho plate right there. Ben and Paul trying to nibble at it. I'll be diving into some of those in a little bit, but we got deals on prime rib dip sandwich, the deep dish nachos, Tom's Party Starter, Coors Lights, Blue Moons. I mean, if you want to be down here early, you got to get down here early. Enjoy yourself. Why rush with the traffic and deal with parking? Get down here as early as possible. Post up at Tom's Watch Bar. Have a couple of brews. Watch some baseball on TV. We got the Yankees and Brewers on right now. Yankees have hit like 5 home runs today, maybe even 6. I mean, Aaron Judge has hit 3 himself. 8 home runs as a team. They put up 16 runs in the Brew Crew. I'm not a big believer in the Brewers this year, but that being said, Yankees have dismantled them today, and they're only in the bottom of the 5th inning. College baseball on. We got women's basketball for the March Madness. I'm sure there's going to be those other games are going to be on too. Again, get down here, beat the traffic. There's a lot to do. Hang out before the ball game. Get your deals on Coors Light, Blue Moon, the deep dish nachos, and all sorts of different things here at Tom's Watch Bar. Live broadcast today is brought to you by Blue Moon, the original baseball beer brewed in a ballpark. 2025 Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly. I don't know if I want to take too much of a victory lap yet after 2 games, but I'm going to tell you right now there's a big reason why Fernando needs to stay in the leadoff spot. I'll explain more when we come back. Just getting started. Braden Surprenant Show live at Tom's Watch Bar on a Saturday on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
He said, so. Yeah, I'm here to help. Okay. Yeah, I said that already. No. Is that in the or is that the like the kick it back the game because the Pepperdine spray into the
All right, Braden, what do you want to do with it? Oh, you want it on the ground?
Yeah.
Oh, took that throw.
That was no, it's not big enough. No. I don't like that.
How far away? If we put it over there,
You can put it over there.
he doesn't have a lot of range.
I know the board's nice. You have a box to put over?
It's also yeah.
Why don't we make it small and just put it?
Like order here. Let's see if you can bring out that prime rib sandwich.
Okay. What's up, man? Good. Right there. The Braden Surprenant Show shirt.
Talk to DJ. There's a friend coming down, so you gotta you feel that. Thank you very much too there. They do good. Well, I've been all over about my last place. Don't focus on me. Is that good?
Fernando Tatis Jr. leads off, swings at the first pitch, and hammers a no-doubter to left field. Home run, Fernando. Padres take a 1-0 lead, one pitch into the bottom of the first inning. First home run of the year for Tatis, leading off for the second consecutive day, and a leadoff home run.
How about that for Fernando Tatis Jr.? Leadoff home run to get things started for the San Diego Padres in the home half of the first inning last night against Atlanta. And that's only some of what he could do and accomplish as the leadoff man for the San Diego Padres. I mean, I've been saying this for the last couple of years about how much more beneficial it is for the Padres to have their best player bat leadoff to get the game started. And I know a lot of people traditionally, when they think about leadoff hitters, grind out the account, grind out the at-bat, work a walk, get on first, have some speed. It's all fun and everything like that. But aside from the first time that you come to the plate, the situation for a leadoff guy is really different every single time. I mean, Fernando might lead off the game, and he might not lead off the rest of the game. He might just be in different situations throughout the entire contest. And there's going to be times where he comes up with players on base from the bottom half of the order. But to me, when you have Fernando and you have such a dynamic player at the top of your order and coming up multiple times, you are able to create a lot of great situations. I try my best for the picture sometimes. It's hard to talk and smile at the same time. Hopefully I smile through my talking. Good to see you guys. Thanks for coming out. We're out here at Tom's Watch Bar at 8th and J Street, just steps from Petco Park. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show. We're going to be here until about 2 o'clock. Gwen and Chris are going to come on with me at the kind of little bit of a crossover at 1:30. So we'll have Matt Scraby and Chris Ello. They're going to bring me one of those prime dip sandwiches. And it looks pretty good. Prime rib dip sandwich. I've seen them walk around a little bit with those. They're famous for those. So if you come out to Tom's Watch Bar, tell them I sent you down here. Get yourself one of those prime rib dip sandwich. I just had some of the deep dish nachos. Those things are huge. They're gigantic. I gave those to my friends that came out. I can't be. It's hard to eat and talk and take pictures and all that fun stuff. It's fun time here at Tom's Watch Bar. Again, we're at the East Village Block Party. They got deals on Blue Moon, Coors Light, Tom's Party Starter. As today's broadcast is brought to you by Blue Moon, the original baseball beer brewed in a ballpark. So back to Fernando, again, as the leadoff guy for the San Diego Padres and what he brings to the table as a leadoff man. Everybody that criticizes Fernando being a leadoff hitter always has to go back to the same thing. We want runners on base when he hits. We want him to drive in runs. Well, guess what? Aside from the first at-bat of the day, it's not going to matter anymore. That's the only time he's going to come up with nobody on base. And if he comes up with nobody on base later in the contest, that has more to say about the rest of the Padres lineup than it does about Fernando Tatis Jr. And so, like I said, he either rips a double to get the game started. You got a runner in scoring position with nobody out for either Luis Arraez. I prefer Jackson Merrill, but we'll see how the lineup progresses for Mike Schilt throughout the year. You have him batting second or Arraez, and then all of a sudden Arraez knock it into a double play. Even if Fernando gets a single, with his speed and the aggressiveness and the new rules that were implemented last year that encourages stolen bases, I mean, he might have 40 stolen bases this year. We talked about that yesterday on the show. And if that's the case, he might just steal second. And now, again, you got a runner in scoring position with nobody out for the rest of the order for the San Diego Padres. On top of that, if Fernando hits a home run, you're up 1-0, which is exactly what you were up last night. Lineup is out already today for the San Diego Padres. Just came out against Atlanta. Again, the game starts at 4:15. We'll be carrying you up to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show with Sam Levitt at 3:15. Gwen and Chris again after me, which will be Matt Scraby and Chris Ello live from Tom's Watch Bar. Lineup today. Batting leadoff again, Fernando Tatis Jr. I would continue to bat him leadoff the rest of the year, even if he goes through some of a slump. We talked about his stats yesterday. I mean, he dominates in the leadoff spot. OPS is high, RBIs are high, average is high. The guy thrives there, and you got to let him go be him. And there's not a lot of players where you just let go be them in the lineup. But that's the guy that you let do that in Fernando Tatis Jr. He's going to bat leadoff and play right field. Batting second at first base, Luis Arraez, going to go with him again in the 2 spot. Again, I'm a little afraid of him in the 2-hole just because he hits the ball hard and he hits it up the middle, which sets up for double plays potentially. But I guess if you got Fernando swiping bags, it's a little bit of a safety net there with Arraez batting second. Machado's going to bat third and play third. Merrill in center bats fourth. Cronenworth moving up to the 5 spot today after a good night last night. It's good to see him, feel comfortable again. He got a big contract. And even though he's starting to play a little bit higher to that contract, he's going to be a guy that you're not going to pinch hit for late in the game. You're going to need Cronenworth throughout the year. So that first game was tough. He doesn't hit well against lefties, but against righties, he, again, like last night, hit pretty well, got that big home run. He bats fifth and will play second. Xander Bogaerts will bat sixth, play shortstop. Gavin Sheets getting to start the DH spot again against a right-handed hitter, a right-handed pitcher. He will DH and bat seventh. Batting eighth and in left field, Jason Hayward. Again, righty matchup. You're going to see a lot of Hayward. And then Martin Maldonado, as expected, is going to start behind the dish for Randy Vasquez as a starting pitcher. You're going to see a lot of Martin Maldonado with the young pitchers or the less experienced pitchers, like Kyle Hart on Monday, probably, and again with Randy Vasquez today. I would not be surprised tomorrow for Sunday Night Baseball. It's Elias Diaz with Nick Pivetta. Nick Pivetta, more of a veteran pitcher that you brought in, you paid good money to. He's not going to have to worry about a lot of things. You don't have to worry about him being nurtured by a catcher, which I think is what the plan is for Martin Maldonado, working with guys like Randy Vasquez or even a Steven Kolek when he comes up and finally makes starts for the Padres. So Tatis bats leadoff. He's going to play right. Arise batting second at first. Matt Machado bats third, plays third. Merrill batting cleanup in center field. Jake Cronenworth will play second base. He'll bat fifth. Bogaerts batting sixth at shortstop. Sheets in the seventh spot. He's the DH. Hayward batting eighth in left field. And Martin Maldonado's catching and batting ninth for your San Diego Padres today against Spencer Schwellenbach of the Atlanta Braves. Again at 4:15 right here on 97.3 The Fan. Just getting started here. Only got a couple of hours on a Saturday. Special show on a Saturday brought to you by Blue Moon, original baseball beer brewed in the ballpark. 2025 Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly. Be sure to follow Tom's Watch Bar on social media. Tom's _Petco Park. They're posting a lot of videos of us out here at the Watch Bar, showing off some of their food. Again, you got to check out those nachos. Deep dish nachos are a big hit. I've seen a lot of those run out of the kitchen. Prime rib dip sandwich, also a special today. That's flying out of the kitchen. Starting to get that slow build as we feel Padres baseball here on a Saturday morning into a Saturday afternoon with 97.3 The Fan. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about Jake Cronenworth and kind of what his role is with this team. Kind of give you some updates on the rest of Major League Baseball throughout the afternoon as well. Yankees just bludgeoning the Milwaukee Brewers today. Aaron Judge is on a roll. He just hit another double. He hit 3 home runs today. The Yankees are up 18-6 on Milwaukee in the bottom of the 6th inning. I don't think Milwaukee is going to win the division in the Central. They've been picked a lot in the Central. I don't think they're going to be much competition for the National League. I think the National League is loaded in general. And in the American League, which I don't think is as good as the National League, they're getting crushed by the Yankees, who have lost a lot of players due to injury and don't have their full starting rotation. I mean, three of their 5 starting rotation pieces expected for this season are starting the year on the injured list, and some of them are out for the year. So this might be fool's gold for the Yankees going against the Brewers. Maybe you're getting a little bit of what you're expecting from Milwaukee this year. Again, they're down 18-6. We'll talk more about the other games that are coming up in Major League Baseball. Again, continue to talk about the upcoming game and the last couple of games with the Padres as we talk Padres baseball with you. Going up to 2 o'clock today, the Braden Surprenant Show on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
The biggest guests in San Diego sports talk appear on 97.3 The Fan.
Minnesota Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell, our guest. I mean, you said you learned from Belichick.
The only thing I was going to add is, the next time we do this, just make sure, Scraby reaches out and we'll get it dialed in. Otherwise, it's a no-go for me.
Oh, okay. All right.
Absolutely.
Like
we will make sure. We will make sure.
No problem putting Scraby on that. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Listen to Quinn and Chris weekdays from 2 to 6 on 97.3 The Fan.
Hey, Ralph shoppers, get ready for Customer Appreciation Week happening March 26th through April 1st. We've packed 7 days with amazing deals. And if you're a Boost member, you can save even more. Get excited and get ready to save. Thanks for being such an awesome customer. Ralph's, fresh for everyone.
Check out this fresh deal on grapes. Red, green, or black seedless grapes are on sale for only $2.49 a pound with your card. Ralph's, fresh for everyone.
Hey guys, Woodsy here. St. Patty's Day is in the rear view, but the good times roll on at Sedano Ford. My pal Manny Sedano, proud local and veteran-owned dealer, dishing out March deals so sweet, you'd swear he's holding a winning lottery ticket. The Ford F-150 Lightning, zapping in at just $99 a month, cheaper than my last tab in Peoria. The Bronco Badlands, that beast is yours for just $275 a month, ready for surfboards or showing off. And the Ford Maverick, flexing at about 35 miles a gallon, hits the road at $275 a month, more cash in your pocket. Car trouble? Their mobile service races to you faster than I dodge my in-laws. Swing by Sedano Ford in La Mesa, tell them Woodsy sent you, and Manny's local, veteran-owned crew will take good care of you. These deals are hotter than a San Diego summer day in the desert, but they're not sticking around. Zoom on over to SedanoFord.com before March ends, and they vanish like my diet plans. You'll be cruising and cackling all the way home. For more details about these offers, please do yourself a favor and go to SedanoFord.com. Once again, it's SedanoFord.com.
A California without big tobacco? It isn't just possible, it's already happening. Over the past 30 years, California's cut smoking by 60%, lung cancer by 42%. A couple of our cities have already ended tobacco sales. Everyday Californians are doing their part to clear the air, protecting loved ones, neighbors, even complete strangers from the harms of big tobacco. What will we undo next? See our progress at undo.org.
Welcome to Staples.
I hear Staples prints it all for any business.
You bet, and we'll beat any print quote.
So if I had a pizza place...
Staples can print signs, menus, pizza boxes.
A landscaping business?
Oh, we can print yard signs, t-shirts, brochures.
How about a pizza/landscaping business? I'll call it Dough and Mo.
I like it.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5, exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere. From dust mites, pet dander, and pollen to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Hey guys, it is Woodsy, and as a parent, my top priority is making sure my family, my children, are cared for, no matter what happens. Did you know that if you pass away without a will, the state decides what happens to your assets and even your kids? Without a will, the courts, not your family, have the final say about who will raise your children. Protect your family with trust and will. Their simple process lets you start online and nominate guardians, plan your legacy, and secure the future of your loved ones. Take control and start the year with peace of mind. Visit trustandwill.com today. Use the code FAN for 20% off and free shipping. That's code FAN at trustandwill.com.
Energy efficient windows, total roofing protection, and exterior house painting. It's all here at Genesis Home Improvements. With over 19 years of experience and a reputation built on trust and customer satisfaction, Genesis Home Improvements is your go-to partner for all your home improvement needs. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Lifetime warranty on all products. 100% financing. No money down. It's time to breathe new life into your home. Save 15% today. Visit GenesisHomeImprovementsST.com.
O'Reilly. Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
What if your limited inventory had unlimited potential? What if your biggest risk was not taking one? What if you could make every move matter? Bank of America's business solutions can help bring your biggest what ifs within reach. Find out how our digital tools, cutting edge insights, and trusted expertise can work for your business. What would you like the power to do? Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
Welcome back to the Braden Surprenant Show live at Tom's Watch Bar out here on 8th and J Street, just steps from Petco Park. They've been bringing me food. I'm going to see if I can do this for the YouTube. But the prime rib dip sandwich with the fries on the side, awesome. I mean, I was trying to devour that during the break. It is delicious. It comes with a nice little au jus, little horseradish on the side, too. You got to do the horseradish with the prime rib dip. Always, the fries are great. Comes with a side of ketchup. You know, I'm more of a ranch guy with the fries, but ketchup does the job. And a big thanks to Tom's Watch Bar for hooking it up. I already had some of the deep dish nachos. Those are great, too. They're stacked high. And so they're doing specials today on a couple of these things. Again, I'm sure the prime rib dip sandwich. Oh, camera's following me. There we go. Delicious. If you haven't seen it or anybody driving around, again, follow me on Instagram and on TikTok and on Twitter. But I posted on my Instagram story a picture of the prime rib dip sandwich. It is to die for. I understand why they're hyping that up all week. It is delicious. If you haven't gotten one yet, get down to the ballpark early. Beat the traffic, although it's starting to build up. Get your parking spot. Hang out at Tom's Watch Bar. Kill one of these sandwiches. Have some nachos on the side. We got deals on Coors Lights and Blue Moons. Post up. Have a relaxing time at the ballpark. I mean, there's nothing more stressful than trying to get down to the ballpark, around first pitch, and you're stressed about parking. You're trying to get to you're sitting in traffic. I always like to go to the games when I come as a fan. Working's a little bit different, but when I come as a fan, I'm down here like 3.5, maybe 4 hours before, if I can do that. Now, a lot of people with work and everything like that, I understand. But if you take the time to come down to the ballpark before a game, get down early, come to Tom's Watch Bar, post up. It's walking distance. The gate that you enter in is right next to the bar. So you don't have to worry about lines too much. You can see what the lines are like. You can look into Petco Park on the back patio. Back patio looks into Gallagher Square. Have yourself a prime rib dip sandwich, some nachos, a couple of beers, hang out, have a more relaxing time at the bar. That's the way you do it. When I come down here with my buddies, we're down here 3 hours before, 3.5 hours before they even open the gates, post up at Tom's Watch Bar, hang out, have a couple of brews, and enjoy yourself instead of being rush. And I know it's not all the time, but I highly recommend that. I mean, that's where I'm going to be all the time when I come down to the ballpark. Prime rib dip sandwich. They got other things too. That's just one of the specials today for Tom's Watch Bar. They're putting a special on their best item. But I saw there was a couple of plates that had chicken and waffles that looked great. They got cheese curds as an appetizer you could get as well. I mean, I looked over the menu. It's great. Plus, they're slinging drinks back here. Bartender Ray working his ass off today. Shout out to Ray behind the bar. He was hooking up Ben and Woods with some drinks. I have to work a little bit more after the show today, so not going to down that tequila Red Bull. Little play on the vodka Red Bull that I think a lot of young people are having in PB on a Thursday night or a Friday night. But slinging drinks, they got tons of great beers on tap. Should be a fun time again throughout the rest of the afternoon as we lead you up to first pitch with the Padres and the Atlanta Braves. I want to mention when we talked about Jake Cronenworth a little bit, and I'm going to talk more about him, but we did get an update on Yu Darvish from Kevin Acee, as I'm trying to go find it in his latest article. So we do have an update on you. Again, today would be Darvish's usual spot as the number 3 starter for the Padres. Instead, it's Randy Vasquez for at least the time being. With Nick Pivetta, they didn't want to move Nick Pivetta up, throw him off his timing and his schedule that he has had the last couple of weeks of spring training. So Pivetta will go tomorrow on Sunday Night Baseball. And it's Randy Vasquez today, and they're leaving Kyle Hart in that number 5 spot, probably as an easy transition to put Darvish back into the rotation if and when he becomes healthy for the San Diego Padres. Here's the latest update we got on you. You Darvish played catch yesterday at a slightly longer distance and at a slightly increased intensity. Quote from Darvish, "I feel better every day," said after finishing his long toss. 38-year-old right-hander is on the injured list after experiencing elbow discomfort in mid-March. He was shut down from throwing for a little more than a week and is now building back up. He increased the distance of his throws out to 90 feet from 75 on Tuesday. He said he hopes to get up to 105 feet today. That depends on how his elbow feels. That is as far as his progress can be determined now. Generally, with no setbacks, a pitcher with increase his long toss out incrementally to about 150 feet. If they feel good at that point, throwing off the mound comes next. Darvish will need at least 2 or 3 bullpen sessions before getting into a game situation. That would presumably mean a rehab start or 2 before returning. So obviously, Yu is progressing, which is good news. He is getting better. We're not having any setbacks so far. He's still got to clear a couple of hurdles in terms of in terms of not having a setback as he increases his way to 150 feet. And then from there, once he feels good enough and the team feels good enough for him to go out and throw a bullpen in a rehab game, he will then go down and do some type of rehab start in either AAA, AA, single A. It really depends on where they're at in terms of home and away location. I mean, maybe it's Lake Elsinore, maybe it's El Paso. It doesn't really matter. I'm sure he has done simulated games in the past here at Petco Park against some of the best players of the Lake Elsinore Storm that they'll bring down and do that as well. So I'm sure there's a couple of plans that they have in place for you, Darvish. But if he's going to make a couple of rehab starts, then it's going to be a couple of weeks before you see Yu Darvish back in a Padres uniform in the starting rotation. But everything seems to be progressing smoothly right now for you, and I think that's good news for San Diego. Now it's going to be up to Randy Vasquez to try to fill that void, and maybe it'll be Stephen Kolek, and hopefully you don't have to make too many moves here in the first couple of weeks. But I like Randy Vasquez. I think he's got a bright future for the Padres. I mean, he's only 26 years old. He logged his first, major league regular season last year. Started 20 games for the Padres and threw 98 innings as a starter for a 25-year-old. So a 26-year-old now, still learning how to pitch. I'm looking forward to seeing him work with Martin Maldonado tonight for the San Diego Padres. Again, we got the lineup out today with leadoff batter being Fernando Tatis, followed by Luis Arraez batting second. We also have Manny batting third. Jackson Merrill in the cleanup spot, Jake Cronenworth, Xander Bogaerts, Gavin Sheets, Jason Hayward, Martin Maldonado, and, of course, Randy Vasquez, the starting pitcher today for San Diego. We're having a great time here at Tom's Watch Bar. Again, Gwen and Chris will be coming up after me at about 2 o'clock. We'll probably sneak them on at 1:30 as we continue our live coverage of Padres baseball here. We got games going on at Tom's Watch Bar. You got the Yankees now leading the Brewers 18-6 in the bottom of the 7th inning. It's been a home run derby for the Bronx Bombers. Minnesota and St. Louis is in the 6th inning. They're tied at 1 as they go to the bottom half of the 6th in St. Louis. And then, of course, they got some NCAA tournament action in there with the Sweet 16 for women's college basketball. Later on tonight, obviously, there'll be some men's basketball here at Tom's Watch Bar with the Padre game going on. It's a great place to watch the game, too, after, the pregame festivities. You post up, you get to hear the Nat sound. In fact, the last time we were here, went out and we had a live remote. It was in the patio, and this was a long time. This was a couple years ago. This was 2021. And in 2021, we were here at the the previous place that was Social Tap, but now Tom's Watch Bar, out on the patio. And we did the midday show, led into Gwen and Chris, and I hosted the pregame show that day. And I didn't have the postgame show. And it was the reopening day at Petco Park. It was the first game back with the full attendance after COVID-19. And I watched the entire game from this location. I could have gone in, I didn't have a ticket. I don't remember if we had, it was still kind of weird with the credentialing that year. So I did the pregame show, and then I hung out at this location and watched the game on the TVs here, and just with the Nat sound of the ballpark and seeing into the ballpark, it was honestly a pretty cool experience. It's just a different vibe, right? When you're in the bar, but you're right next to the ballpark, it's a cool thing. If you haven't done it before and you don't have tickets to the game today, no problem. Come down, have a prime rib dip sandwich. I mean, you're going to be posted up at the bar. You have to wait in line for drinks. You got your personal bartender here in Ray. You got a bathroom's not going to have a long line. You could post up and watch with the game in the background. It's another good spot to have. Now, it's better to have tickets inside the ballpark, but it's a different experience, so it's pretty cool. And we were able to do that. I was able to do that one time. Definitely recommend. Yankees hit another home run. How many home runs is that now? Is that 9 home runs for the Yankees? Peraza just went deep on a 2-run homer. They have put up 20 runs on the Milwaukee Brewers. 20. It's the bottom of the 7th. 9 home runs today sets a franchise record for a game for the Bronx Bombers. We're talking about a team that's got the nickname the Bronx Bombers, and they just set a franchise record for most homers in a game. 9. 20 runs for the New York Yankees, and counting, by the way. They still got another inning they have to play. I don't think the Brewers are coming back, but look, man, we talked about it before. I just don't think the Brewers are going to have that great of a year. I don't think they're going to have that great of a year. You saw it in the first game. Yankees really tagged them around. Second game today. I mean, nasty Nestor Cortez, who's now a member of the Brewers going against his former team today, gave up 7 earned runs and got knocked out of the ballpark. And now it continues with the Yankees and Peraza hitting a 2-run shot to give them a 20-6 lead, and now 9 homers in the ballgame. Wow. What a day for the Yankees. Don't have to worry about them too much. I still don't think they're going to have that great of a year. We'll see. I mean, they still got a lot of talent. It's got Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge has hit 3 of those homers. 3 of the 9 home runs have come off the bat of Aaron Judge today. Minnesota and St. Louis tied at 1, bottom 6. We'll have more games for you posted up here as the day continues to roll on. Again, Padres are on Fox today. So if you don't want to hear the national broadcast, you can tune in to us. We're always in a good spot. Hamby, thanks again. Appreciate you. When you come out to Tom's Watch Bar, again, we got deals today. Blue Moon, Coors Light, Tom's Party Starter, prime rib dip sandwich, deep dish nachos. We're located at 8th and J Street, just steps from Petco Park. Find some parking. Head on down. We're right next to an entrance to enter Petco Park. Come say hi to Riley. She's got all of our prizes that we're going to give away. Sign up with Odyssey, and you have a chance to win a Yuki Matsui signed baseball and a Xander Bogaerts bobblehead. So all you got to do is come in, write your name down, put your phone number on it, throw it in the hopper. We'll pull names at the end of the show to try to win some prizes, and you'd be surprised. I mean, the way it's, and you got to be here to win, and some people leave, and you got a good opportunity to win some stuff today. And we got a lot of great giveaways for you here at Tom's Watch Bar. So kind of an update on you, Darvish, an update on what's going on in Major League Baseball today. We got a lot of great games that will continue on and throughout the afternoon. Angels and White Sox are scoreless in the top of the 7th. Baltimore and Toronto tied at 2 right now, middle of the 3rd. Baltimore off to a great start to the season against the Toronto Blue Jays. Their young guys are really going after it. And even though they lost yesterday, I mean, it's tough to sweep in that first weekend of the year, but they look pretty good so far with their sticks. Now, the pitching's a problem for Baltimore, but they've looked pretty good with the bats so far this season. Nationals and Phillies about to get underway. Giants and Reds about to get underway for both of those teams, their second game of the year. Again, with all the teams that are usually in weather areas, we don't have to deal with that in San Diego too much. Start on opening day. Next day off on a Friday to try to make up just in case rain happens. Other teams will start on a Friday. That's what Tampa did with Colorado. They're about to start as well. So got 4 games in action. Yankees lead the Brewers 20-6. Angels and White Sox are scoreless top 7. Twins and Cardinals tied at 1, bottom 6. Blue Jays and Orioles tied at 2, bottom 3. And then you got Phillies and Nationals, Giants, Reds, Rockies, Rays getting geared up to start in our next phase of games. And then coming up later, Guardians and Royals at 1:10 Pacific time. Pirates and Marlins at 1:10. And then the late slate, Red Sox, Rangers, Mets, Astros, Cubs, Diamondbacks, Tigers, Dodgers, A's, Mariners. I know the Dodgers are 4-0. That's not really of a concern to, I think, a lot of people. Should be a concern for a lot of Padres fans. Should be more concerned about the Arizona Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks did really well yesterday against Chicago. They got their game back against the Cubs. They put up 10 runs yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Eugenio Suarez just lit the Cubs up after he got beaned a couple of times on opening day. Diamondbacks went 8-1 yesterday over Chicago. Eugenio Suarez, since last July, is 3rd best in Major League Baseball in terms of home runs. I mean, that guy's been on a tear dating back to last July. This Diamondbacks club is built well. They're a good baseball team, and they're going to be a problem for a lot of teams in the National League. A lot of people are picking them to be a foregone conclusion in the playoffs, and it's going to come down to Padres Mets for that final spot. I don't necessarily know if that's the case. They lost Jordan Montgomery during the season or at the beginning of the year, a couple of weeks earlier this week. for the rest of the year with Tommy John surgery. So that's a tough blow for Arizona. They still got a good pitching staff. They got young players, and they're able to, they're doing a good job hitting the rock so far this season. That's the team you should be paying attention to. Giants got off to a 1-0 start after beating Cincinnati. They came from behind to beat Cincy on their opening day, which is a huge spectacle in Cincinnati. They have a parade and everything like that. Tickets for those games are usually over $180. I saw Matt Scraby complaining about that on social media when they posted on the opening day ticket prices. And Matt Scraby was like, oh, I'm not paying that kind of money for Reds Giants. It's not about the Reds Giants. It's the opening day experience in Cincinnati. The parade downtown, first Major League ball club, in professional baseball. So that's why those tickets were so expensive. It's a different deal over there. And good for them. I know opening day for St. Louis is awesome. I thought our opening day was great too. I know Ben and Woods were talking about this, the opening day where everybody's here and it's packed and it's a big spectacle and everything like that. And then Tony Gwynn opening day was usually not a big crowd and more of the diehard Padre fan, diehard baseball fan. Well, now we got that almost every single day here at Petco Park. We got that opening day crowd, playoff crowd almost every single day at Petco Park. Not to say that the other crowd was better or worse or everything like that. It's cool to see all the Padres fans out there. I was saying this earlier in the week. I don't know how many times, the Padres would host teams like Atlanta. Like Atlanta's one of those teams that has a good fan base. Back when they were on TBS a long time ago, before they had the regional sports networks, you could watch all their games because if you had TBS, which everybody did, you watched every single Braves game, just like WGN with the Cubs. And just like, St. Louis was the only team west of the Mississippi for a long time, and it grew this huge fan base. So all of these traditional organizations that have these big fan bases have always traveled well to Petco Park. But right now, with the Padres being as good as they are and Padres Friar faithful buying the tickets and season tickets and, showing up in full droves, I'm not seeing that as much. Today, opening day, I saw maybe like 3 or 4 Braves fans total the entire day. Today, there's only 2 here at Tom's Watch Bar with a couple of Atlanta, some Atlanta gear on. Everything else is Padres brown and gold. I got the blue and orange today. I had to rep a little bit. I was getting some flack from the chat for not wearing Padres gear on opening day. I had to go to the press box. I was wearing my brown, but not the Padres logos. It's fine. Today, I got the blue and orange. Snagged this shirt in New York at the MLB store. The blue and orange holds a spot in my heart because when I was growing up, that's the colors the Padres were. And I've said it before with kids growing up now. It's so great that they get the same consistent players all the time. You're going to see, like in front of me right now, I got a Tatis Jr. jersey and a Machado jersey as they wait for a drink from our guy Ray at the bartender. But for kids now growing up, they're going to have Fernando here forever during their entire childhood. They're going to have Machado during their entire childhood. For me as a kid growing up, it was like Tony Gwynn, and then he retired when I was like 5, 6 years old. And then it was a bunch of random players for the Padres. And so I'd always pick my favorite player to be Tony Gwynn. So for me, when I think of Tony Gwynn, I think of this jersey. I think of this color concept. I think of the 98 team. And I know he played in multiple eras of Padres baseball. He's Mr. Padre. But the blue and orange is nice. I wouldn't mind this new City Connect mention, some blue and orange. They probably already have it done. This is usually like a couple of year project. I'm sure when they were done with the current City Connects that we wore last night, they were already working on the next level of the City Connects. And I know the Padres will do a good job with that. But to me, to incorporate the blue and orange a little bit, I think that would be awesome. Just getting started here. We got 1 hour in. We got another hour to go. We got Gwynn and Chris coming up next. It's going to be Matt Scraby and Chris Ello. They'll kind of mosey on in around 1:30 or so. We're going to try to get them on with us and talk some Padres baseball, a little crossover to finish up the show for myself. And then, of course, they will take it the rest of the way to about 3:15. Again, we're here at 8th and J Street, just steps from Petco Park. Specials on Blue Moon, Coors Light, Tom's Party Starter. I got the prime rib dip sandwich. I've been staring at this thing for the last 5 or 6 minutes because I've been talking on air. I've already dove into a little bit. I'm gonna continue to eat some during the break. And they got the deep dish nachos, which they brought out for Ben and Woods, and that's pretty good too. I had some of those also. You can't go wrong with the food items here at Tom's Watch Bar. come on down. Our live broadcast today is brought to you by Blue Moon, the original baseball beer brewed in a ballpark. 2025 Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly. We're going to preview a little bit more of tonight's game against Atlanta. Again, Padres off to a good 2-0 start to the season, trying to win that opening series against Atlanta to be able to get off to a good start. Got to be able to get off to a good start. Padres did not get off to a good start last year. They didn't need to, but a good start for the Padres in terms of what they're competing with is going to go a long way. I think it's going to build more confidence and camaraderie with this group. We got one more hour to go here at Tom's Watch Bar for myself. Quinn and Chris will take over after me. We're going to be down here to 3:15. Get down to the ballpark early. Come have a brew, have some food, hang out with us, try to win some gear. We'll be back coming up next with some more Braden Surprenant Show on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
One-0, Cronenworth hits it high and deep to right field. Kelnick's going back. He's at the wall. Looks up. It's going to go! Jake Cronenworth with a go-ahead home run leading off in the bottom of the 8th inning, and the Padres are back ahead. It's 4-3.
Jake Cronenworth, the big blast last night for the San Diego Padres in the 8th inning, led off the 8th inning with the solo shot to the Crone zone in right field to give the Padres ultimately the winner last night, 4-3 over the Atlanta Braves. Atlanta is expected to be one of those teams that they're going to have to compete with for a playoff spot potentially. I still think Atlanta's going to win the National League East. They're getting help back. Spencer Strider pitches tonight in a rehab assignment down in Gwinnett. They're going to get him back later on in the year. They're going to get Ronald Acuna Jr. back later on in the year. Sean Murphy's going to be back to help this ball club out. Get as many wins against Atlanta now as you possibly can, because they're going to do some damage for you in the National League. And if you don't have to worry about them again, you're going to be in a great spot. And so far, so good. You've taken the first two. You got to win one of the next two. Sweeps are great. It is very difficult to beat a team 4 straight times. The Padres do it. Fantastic. But I wouldn't count on it. Just, it's hard to count on sweeps. This team is particularly great. Okay, the Atlanta Braves are a really good baseball team. So every win you get is a major plus right now for the San Diego Padres, especially to start the year. And so against Atlanta, again, tonight with either Randy Vasquez or tomorrow night with Nick Pivetta, try to get one of the next two, and starting the season 3-1 is a great start to the year for the San Diego Padres, and then try to continue that against Cleveland on this opening homestand before you hit the road. And the road trip of Chicago against the Cubs, because apparently we only play Chicago early in the season in April when the weather's not great and you have to worry about rain, just so Dave Marcus can stress out about it. And then they're going to Sacramento, the A's. God forbid you call them the Sacramento A's. Hey, man, if you don't like it, don't move your club. You moved your club to a city. What do you mean we just got to call you the Athletics? You're playing in Sacramento. You decided to move. Anyway, Padres will be there next week as well, at the end of the week. So we'll see what the Padres got on their first road trip. Got to finish up the homestand, of course, but good start for the Padres season. And I think with Jake Cronenworth in particular, and I said he had to be better. After the first game, I said he's got to be better. He wasn't good on opening day. Facing a lefty, he hasn't been very good against lefties in general. But right-handed pitching last night got him higher in the starting lineup. He did a good job, and then he got that big knock for San Diego in a position where Mike Schilt could have maybe pinch hit for him late in the game. Decided not to. Decided to stick with his guy, which I'm totally cool with. Even if it didn't work, I still think that's the right decision. And when we talk about these decisions, you can't judge them based on what the result was. You have to judge it based on whether or not you like it in the situation, like with the base running, which we've talked about in the past. But good job for Jake Cronenworth yesterday. He caught up with our Sam Levitt after the game to talk about that big home run in that big spot.
Jake, bottom half of the 8th inning, a tie game, lefty on lefty. You get ahead 1-0. How were you able to get that one out?
Yeah, I think, information the guys told me the inning before, just how the pitch is moving, and I think seeing him yesterday helped as well.
Another sold-out crowd. How would you describe having that kind of moment in front of this crowd here tonight?
Yeah, it's just awesome to be back with the fans, and, they show up for us, and, we try to do that for them.
As far as this team early on, 2 games, you come from behind yesterday, break a tie in the 8th inning today, close wins, a lot like what we saw last year. What is the key to winning those types of games?
I think it's just the way we're playing, man. We're being aggressive on the base pass, balls in dirt. Guys are having really, really good at-bats, putting the ball in play. We're moving runners and playing really good defense.
Finally, the bullpen once again, scoreless. How good is it to have a pen like that?
Yeah, man. I mean, they've been doing an obviously incredible job yesterday. They had to come in early, and some of those guys that threw yesterday came in today and also did a great job. So, I mean, you just got to win by 1, and that's what we did.
Jake, awesome moment here tonight. Thanks so much.
Thanks, sir.
You're seeing everybody contribute right now for the San Diego Padres. Everybody's contributing for the San Diego Padres. Even guys that, you might be on the fence of. I mean, these were the big risks that you had to take if you're the San Diego in terms of what you've already spent money on with these contracts. And Jake's one of those players. even though it's a little bit more affordable than probably other contracts, he's probably going to play up to his contract. I mean, I think he played up to his contract last year. I think he's going to continue to play up to that margin. I mean, to get a player like Jake Cronenworth right now in the open market, that's going to be 15 to about almost $18 million a year. And as crazy as that sounds, that's basically what the going rate for a player like Jake Cronenworth is now in 2025, next season in 2026. So you got a good deal on him, but he is part of that money already spent, that core group of players that the Padres have. And you're going to have days where he's going to have to be the guy. You're going to have days where Xander's going to have to be the guy. You're going to have days where obviously there's top players that you would think have to be that guy. With Xander Bogaerts or with Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny, those are the guys expected to be that player in a big spot. And they will have their opportunities to do so, but it's going to be a mix. It's going to be a mix. You're going to have to, one day it's going to be Martin Maldonado in a big spot that has to contribute. Sticking with his guns, Mike Shildt sticking with his boys. I love the way that he's done that. And again, when you evaluate some of these decisions, you got to evaluate it in the moment, not based on the result. And we talked about that after opening day. Love the aggression for the Padres on the base pass, with the hit and runs, with the double steals, with the stolen bases in general. But you have to understand that if it doesn't work out, you can't just be like, well, Shilt's an idiot. That's not how it works. If you like it in the moment and it works, great. If you like it in the moment, it doesn't work. That's you have to. You live and die by the aggression. Same thing with the decisions that they make. At the time of yesterday, I think it was a good decision for Jake Cronenworth to hit. If he doesn't get a hit there, I'm sure the narrative would have been like, why didn't they pinch hit for him? Well, you know what? It's always the decisions are made in the moment, and you can't have that hindsight 2020 mentality with a lot of those decisions. I want to talk a little bit more about that kind of camaraderie and that core group of players that they've spent the money on. Because here's the deal with that. I think that goes a long way. I think you see that when players play with the same group year in and year out, and multiple times, you have that understanding of where they're going to be. You have that understanding of them in the lineup. You have that understanding of just what it's like to be teammates with these guys. And at the early years of Preller, as he's trying to build this team, even though you kept guys like Manny Machado and at the time Eric Hosmer and Will Myers, I mean, even with that kind of core that they had, they were still flipping their roster over like crazy. Like crazy. And right now, you're not doing that because you went out and you extended these players and you decided to pay for these guys to stay here in San Diego under long-term contracts with Manny Machado and Xander Bogaerts and Fernando and Jake Cronenworth, Joe Musgrove, Yu Darvish. I mean, I know they're going to age, and that's always a problem for a lot of Father Time's undefeated. It's always a talking point from a lot of people. Like, well, we gave these guys all this money, and now they're getting older and all this other stuff. But the reality is they are getting better as a unit together. They're playing better together. They're not going to always improve in terms of their statistics, but with all of these players being healthy and playing with each other and being comfortable with each other and being comfortable here in San Diego, I think it's going to go a long way. I think it's why a lot of players, or should I say people, and fans in Major League Baseball are underestimating the San Diego Padres. I think they're being a little underestimated. I mean, I've seen the way the Dodgers have played the last couple of nights in LA. Detroit is a lot better than they've been. A lot better than they've been. And they're going to be competing for an American League Central Division championship. Now, the competition there is not as good. But that being said, they're a better baseball team. So it's a little bit of a challenge, I guess, for LA. But Detroit's not one of the best teams in Major League Baseball. They've gone toe-to-toe with LA the last two nights. I mean, they're not going to win every game, obviously. I like our squad a little bit better than Detroit's, obviously. And I think there's a lot of other teams in the National League that are going to be gunning for that team. And you're going to see the pressure is on Los Angeles. We heard all the owners of all these other teams disgruntled with the way that LA was able to defer all this money and acquire all this talent. We've seen that with fan bases that have been upset about it. We talked about that with Justin Toscano yesterday, who covers Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta's worried. All their fans are worried about what the Dodgers are doing. But with all of that comes, they're going to get everybody's best shot. And so they're going to be in battles all year long. And I think that might wear them down over the course of the year by the time you get to October. I mean, it's exhausting playing a playoff level game every single night, and that's what they're going to get from everybody. But they signed up for that challenge. And the way the Padres are playing right now, I think the Padres can go toe-to-toe with those guys. As much as I already told you guys not to worry about them, I wouldn't worry about them until you play them. And then there you can worry about it that series. And then once you stop playing them, stop watching their games, stop looking at the scoreboard. If you want to pay attention to a team, pay attention to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Milwaukee Brewers hit a home run. Chris Paul hits a 3. They're down 20-9. They're getting smoked in New York right now. Yankees with 9 home runs today with 20 runs. 3 of those home runs coming off the bat of Aaron Judge, who also hit a grand slam. I mean, the Bronx Bombers are out in full force. They set a franchise record for most home runs hit in a single game today with 9. Ball is jumping out of Yankee Stadium, which is interesting. It's usually doesn't, home runs start flying in Major League Baseball until it starts to warm up a bit. We've seen a handful so far at a lot of teams in the MLB. Ball is jumping off the bat at Yankee Stadium. Cardinals and Twins are still tied at 1. We got other games going on here at Tom's Watch Bar. We're here at 8th and J Street, just steps from Petco Park. We got specials on Blue Moon, Coors Light, Tom's Party Starter, prime rib dip sandwich, deep dish nachos. Today's live broadcast brought to you by Blue Moon, the original baseball beer brewed in a ballpark. 2025 Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly. We'll be taking you up to about 3:15 today. I will go until about 2 o'clock, and then Matt Scraby and Chris Zeller will take over from there. They dropped off, and Chris, if he's listening on the way down, which he should be, and if he's not, I'm going to give him some flack for it. They dropped off for me a prime rib dip sandwich. Now, Chris said he was going to be down in those things. I don't know. I think everybody gets a different menu item today. So Bennett Woods got the nachos. I got the prime rib dip sandwich. I think they're going to give you guys the Tom's Party Starter. So, Chris, you better get down here fast, man, because I'm not sharing this. The horseradish that comes with it, just enough kick, not too much. It doesn't overpower the sandwich. The au jus is great. The fries, crispy, nice, great fries. I prefer with ranch, but they came with ketchup. It's fine. Delicious sandwich. In the au jus, into the horseradish. I mean, if you're here at Tom's Watch Bar already and you haven't ordered one of these things, get on it. It is phenomenal. But we got specials on that. Tom's Party Starter, deep dish nachos, the whole 9 yards. We'll talk more about Major League Baseball when we come back. We're here at 8th and J Street, just steps from Petco Park. Braden Surprenant Show rolling on at Tom's Watch Bar here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Trying to finish up my rib sandwich. What's up, Mike? Russ Nux. We got Padres baseball coming up at 3:15. With the pregame coverage with Ecowater SoCal Padres pregame show at 3:15. I'm taking you up to Gwen and Chris, who are going to be showing up here in just a matter of moments. I had to text Chris Ello. Chris wanted this prime rib dip sandwich. He was raving about it all week. I think I'm going to eat the rest of them. I don't think they're going to have enough prime rib in the back because it's such a hot ticket item right now. Nice au jus, a good horseradish on the side, not too spicy. The horseradish, I like a good horseradish with prime rib. I like it with a prime rib sandwich. I especially like it with a thinly sliced prime rib dip sandwich that they have here at Tom's Watch Bar. And the horseradish, you don't want it to be overpowering. I don't need it to be coming out my nose. Just want a little bit, just a little bit of that nice little kick. And then enjoyable. So for me, that's, oh man, this is the top deal. I don't even have time to really eat the fries. I had the plate of nachos, but I knew I was going to try to get the nachos down. I gave that to my friends and family. They crushed those. The things are like this tall. And I'm not drinking today because I got other things to do, but here's the, this thing's like $6 today. Look at this thing. Insane. Tom's beer. That's Tom's beer. $6. It's the biggest goblet I've ever seen. That thing's at least 20 ounces. So, we're here at 8th and J Street, Braden Surprenant Show, taking you up to Gwen and Chris. Matt Scraby just showed up. Good to see you, Matt. Good to see you. Tell Chris we're out of these. We ate them all. I'm just kidding. The prime rib sandwich is delicious. You got to get one. It's phenomenal. But we got specials on Blue Moon, Coors Light, Tom's Party Starter, the prime rib dip sandwich. Again, I keep ranting about it. It's great. Deep dip dish nachos, also great. And here's the best part. If you come down today with us being here, you got deals on those items. They're usually not on a deal. Get yourself one in a Coors Light. Get yourself one in a Blue Moon. I mean, have a day. You mind if we have a day? Have a day. It's a Saturday. Go out and have yourself a day. Come out to the ballpark. Even if you're not going to the game, come to Tom's Watch Bar and have a day. Have yourself a day. We got sports on. It's a beautiful day in San Diego. You can cruise out East Village block party, which is great. They got tons of different vendors. They got people selling Padres stuff. They got different things for the kids to do out there. They got a couple events going on and a DJ and everything like that. It's a great time as we have this build to Padres baseball coming up at 4:15. Again, the Ecowater SoCal Padres pregame show at 3:15. Want to join the show today, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let me know if you're coming down. Come down and say hi. I'm only going to be here for another 30 minutes or so. I got the notification on my phone that my parking meter was going to expire soon, but I could pay for my phone, which is kind of great. I was at it. I showed up in the parking lot I was in. I parked in the wrong spot, and I was mad at myself. The spot I was going to park in was the lot that's behind the Sempra Energy building. I'm glad I didn't park there. It was like $85. Something absurd, and that was the only option you could pick. No thanks. I'm not doing that. I ended up parking before. I didn't even make it down to that lot because I screwed up, but you know what? It ended up working out for me. But the options were like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, or the entire day. And 3 hours when I got here at 10:30 got me to 1:30, but I am off at 2, so obviously a problem. And then it said, put in your phone number, we'll text you if your thing expires, and you can pay for your phone. Sold. Sounds good. Instead of me sitting there for another 30 minutes to try to time it out right. And with the Padre game, here and people coming down to park and everything like that, it's probably, they're probably checking the tags today. So I just paid. I'm good for another hour. It gives me some time to hang out with you guys for a little bit before I head over to USD for their baseball game today. Again, Padres will start at 4:15. 3:15 is the Ecowater SoCal Padres pregame show. I talked about the prime rib dip sandwich enough. I'd show it, but it's almost gone, so don't want to do it that. I want to give it justice. Follow me on social media at @B_SURP, at @BSURP. I got it posted. I post a lot of different food things in general, living the life here in San Diego. And you gotta trust me. I'm telling you, right, I would not stir you guys wrong about the sandwich or the nachos. Nachos are kind of like bar nachos, but deep dish, it's in a deep dish pan, like pizza pan. The prime rib dip sandwich is the way to go. Again, I wouldn't stir you guys wrong. We do the Do You Know Ball segment. We're going to continue that again on Monday. We'll have other questions. I have one for Monday. I might tease it now about the take on when you have gift cards for a place, like, are there certain times you shouldn't use the gift cards? Like, if you go on a date, or is it bad to use a gift card? I don't personally do it, even if I have gift cards to the place. I feel like, I don't know. Some people say yes, some people say no. I maybe not. Maybe until like you're in a relationship where, you've been dating the person for a long time, or you're married or something like that. I just feel like the gift card thing's off. For coaching football, they give us like $100 gift cards to Landry's restaurants that are a bunch of different, steakhouses and everything like that. And I haven't used them in 3 years. I haven't really been to a steakhouse in a long time. My mom's like, well, since you don't go on dates ever, why don't you just bring your buddies? And hey, that's not a bad idea. But at the same time, I don't know if I'm spending the gift card on a date. I think that's an interesting topic of discussion. So let me know about the Do You Know Ball. I'm going to post that on Monday. But again, I wouldn't steer you wrong in the prime dip. Rib dip sandwich. Chris Ello texted me. He says, I'm running from the parking lot because he wants to get a piece of this action. It's a great time here at Tom's Watch Bar. We got a great crowd on hand. Again, deals on Blue Moon and Coors Light. Tom's Party Starter, prime rib dip sandwich, deep dish nachos. Our broadcast today is brought to you by Blue Moon, original baseball beer brewed in a ballpark. So, great time out here for the Padres. Off to a good start. Have won the first 2 games. Tonight would be great if you can steal one with Randy Vasquez on the mound. I think Randy Vasquez has a bright future for the San Diego Padres. I really do. Nate Taylor, well, your mom put you on ice. Yeah, that's what moms do when you're 30 years old. Yankees fan jumps. Oh, no. That's terrible, Rod. Terrible. Yankees are up 20-9. 9 home runs today. Aaron Judge, 4 for 6, 3 home runs, a double, and 8 RBIs. Anyway, back to Randy Vasquez. I think he's going to have a bright future for the Padres. Now, he's getting pressed into action. And honestly, the best time to learn is when you have to do it. Best time to learn is when you have to. And Randy Vasquez right now got a great opportunity in front of him with the injury to Yu Darvish, with the fact that they were already competing for a number 5 spot in the rotation. So he gets an opportunity today on Saturday against the Atlanta Braves. And Kyle Hart will get the opportunity coming up on Monday. Crisello's now in the house. He's made it to Tom's Watch Bar. He'll be taking over for me again at 2 o'clock. Scraby and Chris talking some Padres baseball. We're going to have them on actually in the next segment. Get them going a little earlier than they expect. They already get preempted enough. They gotta balance out the time as much as possible. But when talking about this Padres lineup today, again, to get it back to you, Fernando's batting leadoff again. I love Fernando batting leadoff. We've talked about this ad nauseum on this show. I think he brings the most to your organization with him in the leadoff spot. You saw it last night. If he hits a home run, even though there's nobody on base, you start the game off 1-0. We talk about with pressure, and Jackson Merrill talked about pressure. We don't succumb to the pressure. We exude pressure on other people. You know what puts pressure on other teams? Fernando leading the game off. You got to start off with Fernando Tatis Jr. in the box. If he gets a hit, you have no idea what he's going to do on the base pass. He is scary to deal with on first, on second, even on third. You saw Chris Sale have to deal with him at third base. So from a base running standpoint, it's scary. You already have to take on their best hitter to start the game. He comes up more times in the lineup than anybody else batting as the leadoff man. They got to stick to that point and stick to that spot the entire year. I don't know about Arise batting 2. He's batting 2 again today. I think you can mix Merrill up there. Merrill's batting cleanup behind Manny, batting third. Xander Bogaerts bats 6th today behind Jake Cronenworth, who's batting 5th. And then later on in the order, you got Gavin Sheets as the DH. Gavin Sheets has done a good job so far this year, already in 2 games for the Padres. You're starting to see that lineup against right-handers compared to that lineup against left-handers, and going against Schwellenbach today for the Padres. Lineup today again: Arise batting leadoff, Fernando's batting leadoff, Arise batting second, Machado's in the 3 spot, Merrill batting cleanup. 5-hole is Cronenworth. 6th spot is Xander Bogaerts. Sheets batting 7th, Hayward batting 8th, and Martin Maldonado batting 9th. As expected, with Martin Maldonado catching Randy Vasquez, have Martin, catch the younger pitchers in the rotation. I think that's a good idea for the San Diego Padres. Want to join the show today? 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. If you haven't done so already, follow me on social media at B_SURP, at BSURP. I got a picture of the prime rib dip sandwich on my Instagram stories. If you want to check that out, having deals on that. Coors Light, Blue Moon, deep dish nachos, Tom's Party Starter. Plus, if you come down, hang out with our promotions team. Riley's over here. She's getting people's information to throw in the hopper. We're going to give away a signed Yuki Matsui ball. We're also going to give away Xander Bogaerts bobblehead. That will be at the end of our show as we transition to Gwynn and Chris. Tony Gwynn Jr. is going to be in the ballpark, so we're going to have Matt Scraby and Chris Ello joining us coming up next. Talk some ball with them. A little bit of a crossover as we bring it home to the Padres game. Start at 4:15. 3:15 is the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. All that coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Final segment of the Braden Surprenant Show, joined by special guests Matt Scraby and Chris Ello. Gonna carry the end of the show with me. A little bit of a crossover, talking Padres baseball here at Tom's Watch Bar, located at 8th and J Street, just steps from Petco Park. I've already ranted and raved about the prime dip sandwich. Prime rib dip sandwich was phenomenal. I'm telling you, get down here early, enjoy the game, enjoy your time coming down to the ballpark, and get yourself one of these sandwiches, and then get yourself one of these beers too. If you're into drinking beer today, these are $6.
What?
That's like 20 ounces of beer.
Chris,
like $6.
Get going.
No, neither of you guys are drinking.
Where is
I'm not drinking today either.
Where's the diving board for that? Yes. Looks like you could jump right off the edge.
Even your soda's
I
gigantic.
know. Yeah,
It
that
could
beer
be like, it looks like a dunk tank type of thing.
It does.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
does.
The thing is massive.
I'm surprised there's no dunk tank outside for the East Village watch party.
Hey, I am a big dunk tank fan. Not to be the guy who does it, but to watch people, dunk tanks are pretty fun.
Did you say you're a big drunk take fan?
Well, that too. I mean, that used to be me.
That used to be you.
Yes,
Low
old me would have had a lot of these dunk tank
Hang on,
beers.
Braden. That is not a low blow. That's above board. With
It was the
man.
truth. It was the truth.
Is it the low blow to call you a mark? Is that what the low blow is?
Yes, that is actually the low blow.
That was
Because
entertaining.
I am not a mark.
I thoroughly enjoyed that, driving up in traffic at Fullerton.
I can't believe the guy worked at a bank and they took advantage of him like that.
It wasn't that I got taken. I thought about
I didn't want
this
to bring
a
this
lot.
up. I'm sorry.
I thought about this a lot in the last couple of days. I did not get taken advantage of. I was a victim of a crime, Chris.
I see. Okay, well,
I guess
that's a
I
good
could
way
do
to
that.
look at it.
Well, okay. So I've talked enough about the Padres today. I'm sure you guys are going to talk about it, but you only have an hour and 15 minutes, so I don't feel that bad for you.
I
But
don't either.
I like the and I'm trying to be as neutral as possible, but I feel like the first 2 days for the Padres they played really good ball in the first 2 days.
Have they made an error yet?
I don't think I've seen one.
You know what I mean? I mean, they're playing clean. They're running the bases smart. The bullpen's incredible, right? 10 in the third innings. They've allowed, I think, 2 hits or something like that.
Well,
out
Lockridge
of the
took away a
bullpen.
3-run homer, so
That didn't hurt,
Matsui,
but
that
it
helps.
counts.
You
It
play
counts.
good defense, right?
Yeah, everybody's got to, help each other out. But, I mean, Jake comes up last night, lefty on lefty, and just wins the ball game, basically. I mean, come on. That's the kind of, thing they had going all of last year.
Right.
And it's 2 games into this year, but it's nice to feel like they're already recapturing that, because you need some of that late inning stuff to have a good season. And, I think the first 2 games, they won in the 7th inning and they went in the 8th inning. So that's all thumbs up.
They did have that one error that was charged to Sander, where he threw the ball high.
In the 9th inning.
I still think
game
Arias
1.
probably needs to be able to catch that if he wants to play first base for
Well,
the
he
Padres.
just needs to be. He needs to be taller.
He needs a bigger target over there.
He needs to be taller. Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
But aside from that, that's basically the only error to speak of. I like the at-bats, too. I mean, for Fernando's first couple of hits that he had going the opposite way on missiles. How about Bogarts last night? He hit a ball 112 miles an hour, the hardest hit ball he's had since 2022. I think it's a good sign to say that he's healthy.
I think so. And, I just – they're having good ABs, like you said. And I think one of them –
they weren't having last year at this time for at least the first couple months.
It took them a while. But, one of the more underrated things that happened this offseason, while everybody was complaining about the fact they didn't sign anybody, was the fact that they did re-sign their pitching coach and their hitting coach. So they don't have to learn a whole new thought process. They don't have to learn a whole new way of doing things, right? I mean, Victor comes right back, and they pick it up right where they left off. And you got Ruben, with the pitchers. I mean, those 2 guys did an amazing job last year, and I think it was big to keep them in this offseason, because I thought there was a decent chance you could lose one or both, and they didn't. So
another year of Mike Schilt, another year of Victor, another year of Ruben. I mean, the continuity. Yeah, right. I think the same thing is, as much as people complain about all these long-term contracts have been handed out, I think there's an advantage of being able to play with the same guys that you've played with year in and year out, despite them getting older.
It's kind of like working with Scraby, It's like an old shoe,
That's right.
We're in our 7th year, and now I feel like we're pretty comfortable with each other. So.
I think we are. I also love what I'm seeing from Jackson Merrill right now. He's just proving he can flat out hit. It doesn't matter the situation. He can do it. He takes what's given to him, is what Tony and you and I have been saying, is that he doesn't try too hard to hit the home run or be the hero. He's just hitting right now.
He's doing a really good job. He's continuing to, and again, they hit it. They actually have an approach. We haven't seen that out of them the last couple of years. They're up there with approach. They're taking the balls the other way on balls outside. The power's going to come with the line drive hitting. I love the hit and runs. I love the aggressiveness. And people after day one were like, we love the aggression. This is great. But, it worked out. I like the aggression even if it doesn't work out. You can't sit there and be like, and I've said this enough today, but, when it works out, you can't be talking about how much Mike Schilt is the greatest thing ever, and then when it doesn't work, call him an idiot. I mean, you either like the aggression or you don't. I personally like the aggression, even if they will run into outs later this year for being that aggressive with the hit and runs and the steals and the double steals.
Hold on. Chris does not like base running errors. He does not. So how are you with the aggression?
Well, let's.
No, I don't like. That's not right.
You don't like stupid base running.
But that's right. I don't like stupid base running. I don't mind getting thrown out if you're making a smart play, trying to take an extra base.
But
I have no problem with that.
Right. The context of if you hit a double, you're down 5 runs. You hit a single, you're down 5 runs. You try to stretch with a double in the 7th inning. You get hosed by 3 feet.
That's dumb.
That's not being aggressive. That's being dumb.
No, that's not being aggressive. That's being Hassan Kim.
I knew it.
Sorry.
It is. We've worked so long together.
He's in Tampa now.
He
doesn't know I just said that about him. But no, if you're on, right, getting to third base with 1 out, things like that, you got to take a risk.
Right.
And you got to push the envelope, and I like what they're doing. But I just don't like, a dumb base running play. Even if you're safe, I don't like a dumb base running play. And I think, we've seen less and less of that because Mike Schilt and this staff are all about details. And I think a lot of those have been cleaned up with this squad. And it's one of the reasons you win a bunch of close games. Little things here and there make the difference.
Well, the gamesmanship, too, with some of the base running. You get late in the game on opening day. They walk Xander to get to Merrill, and after the intentional walk, because they did it obviously with 1 out, force maybe a double play, get a force out at any base, Padres immediately do a double steal with 2 of their slower players. That aggression there, I don't mind.
I was saying that they were taking advantage of a poor rookie catcher in his very first game.
Still.
But the job that the Braves staff did holding those runners was pretty bad. They took advantage of that, and good for them to do it. You're right. Look, they're playing smart. It's 2 games. I'm going to tell you how early in the season it is to put things in perspective before we go overboard.
Perspective police.
You're not getting in line for playoff tickets?
Not yet.
Perspective police.
The World Series line for playoff tickets is over there at the East Village Block Party.
I could barely get in. No, here's perspective for you. Luis Ariz is hitting 0.
Right.
That's how early in the season is. Okay, so 2-0. They go 4-0, then we might be talking. But they could be 2-2 by the time we get back Monday, and then we're going to be angry.
Now, is this one of those things where we could say, "Oh, this isn't the Braves team that they're going to face later in the year"? Is that?
Yeah.
Are we going to say
that?
or are we
just
going to
wins
appreciate
against these guys as possible?
I was going to say, are we just going to appreciate that they started 2-0 and they're looking pretty good?
No, you take advantage of what you can. Look, they played the Braves in the playoffs last year and didn't have to see Chris Sale or Spencer Strider. It might have been a little different. Or
no
a little,
Ronald Acuna.
Would have been a lot harder to beat the Braves if those 2 guys had started the first 2 games. So, yeah, you take advantage of everything you can, and they're doing just that. So,
well, the thing with Atlanta, too, and I mentioned this earlier in the show, you're getting Strider back, and you're getting Acuna back, and you're going to get Sean Murphy back. And those guys, here's the best part. If you got to win one of the next 2 games. You take 3 out of 4, you win the series. It's a great start. Even if you split, I think it's okay. So the Padres are in a good spot to start the season. But the best part about getting rid of Atlanta off your schedule now is they are going to get better. And now they're going to go beat up on the rest of the National League, which you're going to need in order to make the playoffs, especially with the NL East being as loaded as they are. I don't necessarily think the Central is going to be very good, but I keep saying on my show, forget the Dodgers. You got to pay attention to the Arizona Diamondbacks who came alive last night against Chicago.
Not worried about anybody but the Dodgers. I'm trying to win the division. And
talk to me in September. Within 5 games, I'll pay attention.
Well, absolutely. I mean, but okay, if in September I'm 20 games down, then I'm going to worry about winning the wild card. I'm not going to go into the season trying to win the wild card.
I'm not losing sleep with the
That's
Dodgers.
Silly.
I'm not losing sleep with the Dodgers walking it off last night.
Well,
and there's a lot. I'm trying to convince the Padres fans, stop making that series bigger than it needs to be.
What, the Padres?
Dodgers series. You got to stop. You
We're
play
not
it,
even
you
close
play
to
into their
being there
hands.
yet.
That's what I'm saying. You play into their hands. I know
Let's
that's
see
the
where we're
vision.
at when the Dodgers come to town. Like
But
in
the
June.
that's just you can't be focused on them. Let them go do their thing. They're going to get the
But who
breaks.
said
and
I was
those stuff.
focused on that?
I said Padres fans. That's what I'm saying. Focus on Arizona.
No, I'm honestly focused on the Braves the next 2 days, and then I'll be focused on the Guardians.
Then the
I'm pretty
Guardians.
sure that's what the Padres are thinking.
Well,
the Dodgers are going to win or lose no matter what the Padres do, right? So you got to go out there and just play good ball. But I don't think you can mentally tell yourself coming into a season, I'm playing for the wild card. You might be thinking it in the back of your mind, but
Chris,
I don't think you can have that attitude.
I'm not in the clubhouse. I'm not on the team. As a fan, I can have that attitude. That's the
That is
fan
right.
mindset.
That is right.
You bring up a good point because as a coach and as a member of the team, I'm focused on the next task at hand. But from a fan perspective and as guys on the radio, we don't need to discuss. We can discuss whatever we want. Whatever we say has no impact on them in the clubhouse. Look at Chris's face.
Oh, my goodness.
That is awesome. It's so good.
Wow.
There's
So
no
good.
way I'm talking to you for the next 10 minutes. I mean,
Oh,
I'm
you
sorry.
steal
a fry. Just
Get
stole a
out
fry.
of there.
I stole a fry.
I can't believe you stole the fry.
Are you not impressed with me being able to eat as much as I did as the lone man here?
I am kind of impressed, to be honest.
That's during breaks. I smoked that thing.
Are you going to eat both of those halves, or can I have a half?
Hang on. I'm ready. I mean, I might order another one.
Should we film him as he dives in?
Let's do it.
Look at that.
I might order a second one. Don't
Look at that.
Oh, man.
Don't put it past me, Scraby.
The
Don't put it
au
past
jus,
me.
let me just narrate a little bit since I've already consumed this product. Got the nice au jus in the top left right there.
Yes.
It's got a good extra salty flavor for you. And then next to that, the horseradish is phenomenal.
Ooh.
Because it's not overpowering horseradish. It
That's
gets
what I
enough
wanted to hear.
Enough kick, it gets the job done, but it's still creamy, delicious.
That's what I wanted
good
to hear.
mix. And when you mix them together with the au jus, great. Fries, crispy, awesome.
Man, I feel
what
like
else
I'm
did
on
you have?
Emerald Live all of a sudden. This is great.
Well, stop filming the chair and film
Oh,
the food.
I wasn't paying attention.
Thanks a lot for the rundown, Guy Fieri. I
That's right.
appreciate it.
Hey, it's my inner Sicilian, Chris.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It's a food connoisseur.
That was
We're
awesome.
selling prime rib dip sandwiches today.
So should I wait to rant about the overturned call in the game last night with the Dodgers, or should I do it right now?
Margot?
Yeah, because
Did you see that play, Chris?
Okay, I'm gonna have to show. Okay, we'll wait then. I'm gonna show you this play because the Dodgers, I'm sure, they're
We got
sure
some
that
to see here.
it was just not a call that should have been made. They overturned a call that got Margot out.
Manuel Margot, did he get a haircut?
I'm not not explaining this very well. I need to show you the video. I'm gonna.
But did it
stop
cost the
talking.
Tigers the game? Did it cost them a run? Did it cost? I mean,
It cost
was
them a run.
All right.
Hey, I got to go back to one of the quotes that I got from one of our fans of the show, good friend of mine, Doug Brady. Great quote. Losers focus on winners. Winners focus on winning. I'm focused on winning, not the Dodgers. I don't care about the Dodgers.
I don't either.
They're going to be shoved down your throat all year.
You
anyway.
want to repeat that? Losers focus on winning. Winners. So you're telling me Scraby's focused on the Dodgers? Is that the
No, I'm focused on Major League Baseball, trying to help them will them along.
Come on, man. Some little brother stuff. Can't worry about them.
I'm not worried about the Dodgers. I'm worried about Major League Baseball.
I'm not worried about Major League
Well,
Baseball.
you're like everybody else, Scraby. You want absolute perfection, and the world is not perfect. So
thank you.
You get a call that goes against you, do something about it and just play through it. That's what you have to do.
Nate Taylor in the chat says, grab a bib, Chris.
I won't need that, Nate, but thank you for suggesting. It's a good idea.
This is why Chris has the diet he has during the week, so he can
Yeah,
enjoy
that's right.
food like this.
Absolutely. I'm excited. In fact,
Start eating it.
I don't really like being on the air right now and having to look at this and not, no, I'm good. I'm good. I mean, it looks so incredible that I almost don't want to, it's like a painting right now. I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to mess it up.
You know what? I'll even take a picture of it because
Do
it's
it.
that great.
I did on social. If you
Yeah.
want to see a picture of this, you're driving around in your car, you're not watching on YouTube because you have to be driving. When you get to a spot where you're not driving, you can follow me on social media at @B_SURP at BSURP. Had it on my story. Scraby's going to post it on his social media accounts as well. But we got a great crowd on hand today here at Tom's Watch
Look at
Bar.
this.
This is awesome.
Great
I was
crowd.
just talking to them. I mean, they opened this place officially they kind of cracked it open in January, and they did a lot of the practice run-throughs.
Yeah.
But they officially opened it on February 16th. Here we are on March 29th.
Correct.
So 1 month and 13 days, and already they're killing it like this. I mean, that's awesome for this place is incredible. I mean, these people, it's jam-packed in here. We are not piping in any of the crowd noise. It's this crowded. And, it's great to see, man. Padre fans are down here enjoying a Saturday. You got a late afternoon game, which I think is the perfect time. And
I love the Saturday starts, even though it's a little bit earlier with Fox doing the game today, but the 5:40, 4:15 starts.
This is perfect out here, and the weather's awesome, and they got the block party outside, so they got music and all kinds of games, and and then you come in here and you grab yourself a swimming pool full of beer.
Yeah.
Tom's Watch Bar there.
Swimming pool.
You're going to need a towel after you're done with that thing.
Yeah.
Clean yourself off.
Yeah, but that's sizable. That's definitely sizable.
I wonder how many ounces that is, to be honest.
At least 20.
Yes, that is at least 20
Well,
ounces.
this is 32. Is it bigger than this? Definitely.
Yeah. It's
That's
got to be.
bigger
Maybe
than
it's like a
48
36 or 40.
48
could be
ounce
40.
beer.
Could be 40 ouncer. That would be nice.
$6 today.
That's
only
not
$6.
bad.
That's a bang for your buck for sure. That's a
If
waste.
only I could get deals like that 10 years ago, Chris.
Yeah, right. You wouldn't have quit drinking.
That's
and
true.
So it's good that you didn't get deals like that 10 years ago.
So
I'm
they
just
got
having fun, people.
They got specials on Blue Moon Coors Light. That size beer right there is $6. Tom's Party Starter, prime rib dip sandwich, which Ella's going to eat on the Gwen and Chris show. Deep dish nachos are great. They had those earlier today. Giant deep dish pan. I think nachos are like stacked.
You ate that too, and
No,
the sandwich?
No, the morning show got that. I got the
okay.
sandwich.
All right.
The leftovers I gave to my friends. I wanted the prime dip sandwich. Prime rib dip sandwich.
I just had a little morsel.
Let me ask you this.
Quite delicious.
When you go to a game, now it's different for us because we work a lot of the Padre games. We come in the press box and everything like that. When you come as a fan, Chris.
Yeah.
When you come down to a game, you and Lori go to a game as fans.
Right.
How early do you get to the game? What's your game day routine for attending a sporting event?
Well, unfortunately, we don't go on the weekends for whatever reason.
So yours are impacted by the show.
I'm always impacted by the show. So luckily I live close to where the studio is. So Lori's usually just ready to go, and I pick her up right after the show.
In an ideal world, though, I would not mind as a fan seeing a little batting practice. It's been a while since, as a fan, I've seen batting practice. But there's something about batting practice that is like, you ever sat courtside before a game? I know you have, Braden. You call the games at USD, but you can focus just on the net swishing for a half an hour until you realize what you've been doing. That's right.
You just watch the ball going through, swish, swish, swish. Same kind of thing with batting practice. It's
a mini home run derby breaks out.
It's a very
every day.
comforting. It's a very comforting thing to be a part of, just to watch guys, making solid contact for about an hour straight. So
I like coming down when me and my friends go to games. We usually leave right after my show, which is still super early.
Right.
But you get down early, and with all the amenities downtown, especially right here at Tom's Watch Bar, you park. You don't have to worry about the line for parking. You get You get a good spot in the garage. I always park in the parkade, and I always buy a pass for the parkade. And you park in the first two levels. You don't get stuck at the top, or you get stuck in traffic on the way out. Get here early for parking. You cruise down. You go right down J Street. Come to Tom's Watch Bar, any of the bars here in town. Get yourself a beer. Get yourself something to eat. A little bit cheaper than maybe going to the ballpark, but it's just relaxing. There's not like a rush to get inside. You can just enjoy your time. And I get to do that with my friends. Now, when I come with my family, I'm going to throw my mom under the bus. She's late to everything. We'd be lucky to get here by the time the third inning is over, more times than not. If we see first pitch as a family, it is
I'm a chronic late to the game guy. If I'm going for fun, I try to get there before first pitch, but something always comes up.
If you don't see first pitch, you don't see the full game, Matt.
That's true. I mean,
got to see first pitch, see the full game.
I get it. I want to be there. I even want to be there early for batting practice so I can catch a home run.
Here's the funny thing to me. We want to take our time. We want to make a whole day of it. Like you said, go grab something to eat, drink at Tom's Watch Bar on the way in. save a little room for a couple of ballpark delights once you're in there.
Yes, absolutely.
But the funny thing is Major League Baseball for the last 5 years has been doing everything they can to speed up the game.
I know.
Get you out of there earlier.
Why?
Because TV rules. That's why.
That's right.
And they want everybody on TV to not have to donate so much time. But we, as the day-to-day fan, I don't want a fast game.
I don't want a fast game either.
All right, I come to, as a fan, come to 4 or 5 games a year. Every now and again,
I want my money's worth.
Every now and again, the higher-ups at Odyssey invite people like Scraby and I to the suite.
Very rarely.
Very rarely. But once we get in the suite and they got all that food and everything in there, I don't want the game to be over.
No.
Everybody's like, we got to hurry up. We got to go. We've got a time clock. We got to go.
Hey,
that's for TV. I don't think it's for us who are going to the games necessarily.
If you're watching the game and you get bored, you could turn it off. And if you get bored at the game and it takes too long, you could go home. You don't have to stay. That'll do it for me, Braden Surprenant, Chris Ello, Matt Scraby will take things over. Chris will dive into this prime rib dip sandwich. Our broadcast today brought to you by Blue Moon, original baseball beer brewed in a ballpark. I'll see you guys on Monday, hopefully talking a Padres sweep or a Padres series win. Braden Surprenant from Tom's Watch Bar. Coming up next, Chris Ello, Matt Scraby on Standing As Number One Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. Woo!